Hi and welcome back to the Event Lighting channel. Welcome back to our GrandMA3 tutorial series where we try all kinds of different things on the GrandMA3 Console and the GrandMA3 system, which is basically what this tutorial is about. It's all about networking this time. Sorry about, we had quite a bit of break on the channel. It's been a while since I uploaded a video last time, but sometimes life happens and there's a lot of work and a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So now we're back and we're going to look at networking GrandMA3 equipment into a network so we can take the benefit of what GrandMA3 is really good at, and that is networking and expanding your system and connecting multiple consoles and running OnPCs into your system and all kinds of stuff that has a lot of benefits. And today I'm just going to show you how you connect an OnPC to a real console. We have a GrandMA3 Light over here. I have a 2-port node which we're going to connect as well, and I have a processing unit, and I have an input-output node which is like a new timecode thing that you can use if you are running a studio or a tour production or something else. But this is what today's tutorial is all about, so let's just get into it. So let's start over here. We want to make our network today. We have a switch over here, a Luminex switch. We have some different equipment and we need to connect everything together, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But the first thing you want to do when you work with networking is you want to make absolutely sure that you have full control over your IP addresses. Because if you don't have control over your IP addresses, something is going to go wrong, because you have the option of having an IP conflict and you don't want to have that. So you want to make sure that you have different addresses for everything. So let's look in the Excel sheet over here. As you can see, I have my switch at a .1 address. I have my light planned out to be at 192.168.1.11, my processing unit at 21, my network node at 31, and my OnPC, which I'm working on right now, is 41. The reason why I leave a gap between everything here is if I have another GrandMA3 console, I would give that the address of 12. If I have another processing unit, I would give that the address of 22. So all my GrandMA3 consoles is like next to each other. All my processing units are next to each other, and so on. That just helps you remember better, because sometimes if you're running festivals and larger systems, you sometimes have to introduce guests into your network, and you want to make absolutely sure that the address you give them is actually not occupied by something else, because that's going to get you into a lot of trouble, I promise you. So let's start by taking a look at the OnPC right here. We go into the settings, we go into networking, and you can see my OnPC is just alone on the network. We have a session running, but there's no other stations in the session. And if we go over here, you can see the real console. I set up a small camera here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to press the menu button and go into the network settings here, because we want to make sure that we set up the correct IP address. And you can see up here there's no cable connected, but this is where you set your IP address. If you press and hold this one, it's going to open up this box where you can see the different addresses. You have 3 different connectors on the back of any GrandMA3 console, or the larger ones anyway, and we want to change it. You can also go up to My Interfaces up here. It's going to give you the same box. Keeping the lights on here in my small little studio is definitely not free, and that's why I am really proud to present you today's sponsor for this episode. It's Martin Professional, and we are going to talk a little bit about the XIP. You can see it back here. The AURA XIP is an outdoor capable wash light with zero compromise to indoor use. It's innovative, it's smart indoor-outdoor proofing technology. AURA XIP is fully waterproof for weather conditions such as rain, snow, sand and ice, with close to zero impact on the fixture size, weight, output, noise and aesthetics. This makes it a truly versatile workhorse that can avoid indoor-only and outdoor-only labels. The AURA XIP is lightweight, it's compact and silent enough for most demanding indoor applications, such as theater, television and corporate events. It also integrates a robust and waterproof design for festivals, concerts and other outdoor events. So thank you, Martin, for sponsoring this episode, and let's continue with our tutorial. And you can, as far as I remember, go down here somewhere. If you kill the session, you can switch which different connector you want to connect your GrandMA3 net to. But let's just go up to My Interface, and you can see this one is 192.168.3.111. And if we go back into our Excel sheet over here, you can see I want it at a different address. So if I press and hold this box here, it's going to open up a small little numeric keypad, and here you can say backspace, and we want it at .1.11, and we say please, and it's going to give you a warning, and we're just going to say keep it anyway. And you can see right now the IP address changed up here. But we haven't connected the console yet, which we are going to do right now. So we just apply the change here, and you can see down here the address is changed. It's red down here, which means it's not connected to anything. So let's just put in a cable. So here we are on the back of the console. You can see our 3 different connectors here, and let's just take number 1, put in our cable here, and we go over and connect it to the switch on the other side. So here we are on the other side, and we have our switch, and we just plug it into the same network, and this should connect it to the same network on the right IP address. And let's go over and have a look at the console over here. So now you can see our session. We had our OnPC running here, and just to explain sessions, we have the option of running different sessions on the GrandMA3 network. You can see my session down here. If I just close the session, I can change it to any name I want. Right now I just call it Network Tutorial. This is session number 1. And the cool thing about sessions is that on the same network, and everything is networked together, you can have 2 or more shows running where it's completely separate from each other. It's only sharing the same network, and you can use, if you run like a double stage or something, you can have all your processing units or your network nodes connected to one session, and then when it's time for the other stage to play, you can move the nodes to the other session, and you can connect different consoles to different sessions. But it basically is everything in the same session is going to be the same show. So again, if you run multiple sessions, you have multiple shows, multiple completely separate show files on the same network. It's pretty cool, and it's actually really simple. But you can change the session. Right now we just keep the network tutorial. We create the session again, and you can see this line goes green up here. And before we change the IP address of the GrandMA3 Light over here, and you can see it's now introduced itself on the network. It's not connected yet because it's not green like this one down here. And the only thing you need to do if you want to invite this station into our network is to say invite station, and you can see it's warning us that your station has a higher priority. That means that if I connect this one over here and this one has a higher priority, this one will be the master. And what is the master and not the master in a show is really important on different levels. For instance, if you're using ArtNet, ArtNet only comes out of the master console. So you have to be aware all the time of which station is your master station. That's really important. But in this case, we can just cancel this and say, how would we change that? You can see the GrandMA3 Light, the priority over here is high. Our OnPC is normal. If you want to change it, you can simply just close it down here and go down and say which priority do I want my this station to have. And it's different for all stations. And this is basically only if you connect multiple consoles. If you have like 2 or 3 different consoles at your front of house, you're doing a massive show, you want to make sure that which one is master and which one is going to be master if the first one drops off the network and stuff like that. It gives you security in running your show, and it's quite simple. In this case, we're just going to keep this station at normal, which means if the master console at some point goes off the network, the OnPC is going to take over and be the master until this station comes back. So let's just create our session again. And yes, this should be green up here. And we take the GrandMA3 Light and we say invite station. We ignore the warning, and this should connect our GrandMA3 Light to our network. And now it's going to give us a warning. You can see the countdown here. It's going to cancel in a minute. And if you want to stop this countdown, and this goes for everything in GrandMA3, you simply just click it and it's going to stop the countdown. You can see the connecting side has newer timestamps, and its affected data is 7 presets, there's 7 changes. In this case, we don't really care. We're just going to keep the master data, which is the console over here. So we click the master data and everything is connected. If you go back into network, you can see we now have the console and the OnPC on the same system. But we also have a network node, the option of a network node and a processing unit. So let's try to connect that into our system as well. So let's go over here. So we have our network node over here, and you notice immediately that the IP address up here is wrong. We need to change that into whatever we put in our Excel sheet. And if we look in our Excel sheet, you can see the network node is going to be 192.168.1.31. So what you want to do is you want to press the button here, go into our network, go into our interfaces, and go down to the IP address down here, which is the wrong one. Press this one and just set the right one. I'm just going to speed up the video just a little bit because it takes a little bit of time to set IP addresses in this system here. Just a second. So now we set the IP address. We go down to please down here if we can find it, and we say apply changes, and that should change our network settings. If we go all the way out, you can see right now it says no cable. So let's just put a cable into the system and make sure that everything is up and running. So here we are on the back of the network node. We take our small network cable and we plug it in here, and we go back to the other side to put it into the switch. So here we are on the switch. Let's just plug it into the network system right here, and we go all the way up here, and we see if there's any changes, and there isn't right now. Yeah, you can see the IP address popped up, but it's not connected to our network just yet. We need to go back to our system to connect it to the entire network. So here we are back at the OnPC system. Let's just see what popped up in our network settings. We go into network, and you can see the OnPC 2-port node popped up here, and you can see the IP address, and the IP address is correct. So let's just invite this station as we did with the console. You can see it connects to the session. It's connected and it turned green, which means everything is up and running, and we can continue connecting our processing unit right over here. So here we are at our processing unit. You can see it's starting up right now, and what we want to do with our processing unit is basically the same thing as we did with our small network node. We want to connect it to the network, and first of all we want to make sure that it's on the right IP address. In this case we want it at 192.168.1.21, and let's see, you can see the IP address up here. It's completely wrong, it's a different address. So what we want to do now is click this little icon up here, which is the network settings, and we go into the IP up here, and we press and hold it, and we simply backspace a little bit, and we set it to 1 dot, and we want it at 21 like this, and we say please. And now, as you can see over here, the IP address has changed to 1.21. And we need to connect a cable to it, just as we did at the network node. So let's just go to the back of the processing unit. So here we are on the back of the processing unit, and the only thing we need to do here is to plug in a cable like this, and we go to the other side and connect it to the switch. So here we are back on the other side. We simply want to connect this one into our system, and you can see the network activity starts running up here. Everything is connected, and we need to go back to our OnPC or to our console and connect this to our system. So here we are back on the OnPC system. It doesn't matter where you connect everything, as long as you're running the same session. It doesn't matter if you connect the other units to your OnPC or to your console. It does the same thing, it's the same session. But here on the OnPC, we simply press the settings, go into network, and you can see the processing unit turned up here. And same thing as before, we simply just invite the station. It's going to send all the show data to the station. It has a computer inside, and it's going to share the workload of your show with the processing unit. And the more processing units you add up, or you add to your network, the more power your system has, because everything on a GrandMA3 is always real time. So when you push a button, everything happens instantly. And that's basically what the processing units are doing for your network or for your system. It's keeping everything real time. And this is probably the reason why the really large shows use GrandMA3 or GrandMA2 for that matter. It works the same way. If you have a very large quantity of lights, MA keeps everything real time. There's no delay, there's nothing happening. If you run your network, everything works as expected. This is basically how you connect different items into your different processing units and nodes into your system, as long as you're using MA3. The cool thing about this is if you go into the into the settings and into your connector, you can see all your different items up here. And you can simply say, okay, on my GrandMA3 Light, I'm right now outputting universe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6 anyway. This is an input. But down here you can say, okay, I'll just continue here with 7, and you can say I want this to be 8, and so on and so forth. You can configure the outputs to whatever you want. Let's just, for the fun of it, as the last thing, connect an input-output node into our system. And right now we don't have any input-output node up here, so we can simply just make another one. We say IO node. We call it 192.168.1. Let's just say 51. And we go back over here and we power up our node and make sure it has the correct IP address. You can see now the node is powered up. What we want to do is we want to go in once again, as we did last time. We want to go in and set the correct IP address before we connect it to the network. So we configure the interface. We go all the way down here and we change this address to 192.168.1.51. Once again, I'm just going to speed up the video just a little bit to make sure that you don't have to wait for me scrolling through all these numbers. And we've done that, and we can go all the way down to please down here, and we can say please, and we can apply our changes, and we can actually exit all these settings here, and we go all the way back, and you can see it's red up here, which means it's not connected to anything. I'll just plug in my network down here, as we did the last time. You saw that last time, and it's going to change to the IP address up here, and it's going to be still red because we haven't invited it into our session. So let's go do that. And once again, it's like every other time. You go into the network settings and you will see the IO node popped up here, and we simply check the IP address, and the IP address is correct compared to what we want to do, and we simply invite the station and it should be connecting into our system. So this is a very quick run through of the network settings you have on GrandMA3. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and of course you are more than welcome to ask questions down in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope I'll see you next time on the Event Lighting channel. So until I see you next time, I hope you have some happy GrandMA3 programming moments out there. See you later. Bye-bye.